So awesome. So welcome everybody. Today we've got a special guest from Connecticut, and it's Alexa Hughes, and she's going to chat with us today about doing virtual open houses and 360 tours and the like. So I won't take a lot of her thunder on there, but feel free to open your chat window up and chat with any questions that you might have during, and we'll do some Q&A for sure at the end. But if there's super relevant questions during the conversation, we'll just a bit of an open conversation about that. So I think that'll be good. And yeah, so thanks for joining us today, Alexa, and let you kind of tell us a little bit about who and what you're all about, and then share with us some of your ideas and process that you're working on.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much. This is such a pleasure. So like Shane said, my name's Alexa. I'm from Connecticut, and I'm a second generation realtor. I like to say I'm a DOB, daughter of a broker. And, you know, I've been working hard in the business with my mother hand in hand. You know, we've been partners. And, you know, specifically what I'm looking forward to talk to you guys about today are finding the opportunities in virtual open houses, live streaming, 360, things like that. My mantra is, you know, if there's an opportunity and there's a way to push yourself out of your comfort zone, then that's a way for you to grow. And I think that it's great you guys are, you know, leaning into all the virtual technologies, meeting up on Zoom, so we're all able to touch base. And I'm looking forward to a great conversation here.
Great, awesome, good. So I just have your image spotlighted, so I'm hoping that you can still see some of the guests, but they have you're on the spotlight. So yeah, let's dig right into it then. Go ahead.
So I have a nice little presentation I made, so I'm going to do a screen share here.
Perfect.
If I may.
Absolutely, yeah. It should be. You have permission, okay, or not?
Let me see here. It says disabled screen sharing.
Okay, you should be good now.
Gotta love technology, right?
Yeah. Well, you got to make sure that your settings are all set properly, and you don't want anybody Zoom bombing you, right? So.
No, yeah, no Zoom bombers. No. So as I said before, I'm a second generation realtor, and I work closely with my mother here. And really, you know, to me, like I said, it's all about getting out of your comfort zone and trying something new. So specifically today, we're going to be talking about how you're able to utilize Facebook Live, virtual open houses, and 360 to really win in 2020. And as we know, it's all about your branding, right? We're with RE/MAX, we're with the #1 brand in real estate. And we understand how important it is to have a strong brand. And we are our own personal brands. And in today's day and age, you know, we have so many opportunities where prior you would really be able to create your branding and messaging and influence through TV, radio, newspaper. Well, hello, now there's no gatekeeper, right? We have Facebook, we have YouTube, we have Instagram. You can go direct to consumer. And there's so many opportunities and strategies that I want to go over with you guys today. So first and foremost, Facebook, we know that's where everyone is. There's 2 million users on Facebook. There's 2 billion on Facebook, 2 billion on YouTube, 1 billion on Instagram. So as you're choosing where you'd like to live stream and really be able to showcase your virtual open houses and 360s, consider where all the consumers are. What I always say is do what's comfortable to you. Maybe you don't want to do, if you're not comfortable with everything, just start somewhere, you know? So this is according to Facebook. By 2022, 80% of the world's internet traffic will be video. And people actually view live video 3 times longer than traditional videos. And because of that, you have a lot of great interaction and real-time communication. And that's really where everything's going towards. So really, this is your opportunity to be the star in your client's life. Be the HGTV star for your clients. They're all going to HGTV, checking out what's going on. Why not be the source for your clients, for be able to know the real deal in real estate? And really, it's not about ego or fame or anything like that. It's about having real-time communication, face-to-face, authentic, relatable human contact. And what's the next best thing to face is going live. You're able to have that authentic connection and really be able to build a good audience. And at the end of the day, we know that our relationships are all about trust. And how do we build trust? How do we blast the notion of being a used car salesman, right? It's about creating authentic relationships. And what I love about live stream is that it allows you to have uncut, raw opportunity to really communicate with your database and everyone that's following you on social. And, you know, it's not perfect, right? It's off the cusp sometimes. And I feel that's when you're able to really get that trust and that relationship with your clients and get new ones. So the question here is, will you evolve and consider to lean into these practices, or will you risk going extinct? You know, at the end of the day, like I mentioned before, it's all about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, right? And a lot of people, when you look around, you ask people, you know, who's doing live streaming? Not a lot of people raise their hand, but really all you need is an account for social media, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and then, you know, you need a smartphone. That's really all you need to start. But so many people, they're too afraid to join in because they feel like they're hanging off the side of a cliff. It's scary. It's so scary to go live. But what I'm here to tell you today is that it's really an opportunity. When we have an opportunity for growth and an opportunity, if you are an early adapter, an innovator in your marketplace, then you will be the one that really is able to reap all the benefits. Because at the end of the day, we have to evolve or dissolve, right? So just get over your fear and just do it. So that's my message. So we're going to go over some specifics on planned and spontaneous live opportunities, and we'll kind of go from there.
Hey guys, it's Alexa Kebalo Hughes with Remax Edge. It is a gorgeous October day here in Avon, Connecticut. I'm actually going to be giving you guys a tour of a fantastic property, 26 Bryan Lane in Avon, Connecticut. Unbelievable property, probably one of my favorites, okay? So you actually have 4 bedrooms, 4.5.
So this just gives you an idea of the introduction of one of my Facebook Live virtual tours, okay? And yes, I used to have brown hair. Now I'm blonde.
I was like, that's not you.
Yeah, that's me. I have a lot of different looks. I have a lot of different disguises. I have 3 pairs of glasses. You know, I just like to keep people on their toes. So we're going to dive into some of the strategies here. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about what to do before your live stream, during, and then after. So first and foremost, you really need to have a stabilizer camera, a stabilizer for your camera. So DJI Osmo Mobile is fantastic. I like Mobile 3. It's the latest and greatest. And what I love is that it's super compact. You can see on the left-hand side how this gimbal actually collapses on itself. And you have the case that you can carry it in. You have a tripod that opens up. It's awesome. It's for only $139 US on Amazon. I like it so much better than the previous models. And it allows you to stream vertically or horizontally, which is awesome. Next, before the event, you really want to hype it up. What I like to do is I like to go on Canva. I like to create a nice little visual. And then from there, you can see I use a lot of emojis. I like to tag my vendors that perhaps I'm having in the presentation or with the live stream. Again, I know this is some of these things we may not be doing during COVID, as far as like having multiple people in the home, but certainly it's a great opportunity to showcase, you know, I've done reno financing homes in a home that needed some work. And I had the lender there, the rehab financing lender, I had the home inspector, the contractor, you name it. So it's a really great opportunity to tag other people that will be in the potential streaming. And then also ask your clients if you're able to tag them, if they can share it. And then also what I do is I like to do a Facebook event. So from my business page, I'll actually do a Facebook event, and then you're able to promote that, boost that. So a lot of the legwork happens in advance of the live streaming. You're able to build your audience. You're able to, like I said, Facebook targeted ad, boost it, and to really get people to the streaming. So something else that's really fun is I like to give viewers an incentive to watch. So I've done a lot of different things, such as if you the first 25 people to share can get a gift card. I actually did one with restaurants.com. I'm not sure if you guys have that, but I was able to get $25 gift cards for such a fraction of the price. And it was in the very beginning of my live streaming career. So I said the first 25 people that shared the ad, you know, my post of the future live stream would actually get a $25 gift card. So that was huge. And I got such an audience generated from that. You don't have to go that crazy. A lot of times I'll give away, you know, I have those little stickies that go in the back of the phone for my business cards. So like little swag giveaways you can give to people. But it's also a great way to touch base with people post event, to reach out to them, get their address, make contact with them. Also, I'll just do, like, if I'm pairing up with a lender, sometimes they'll give us, like, you know, maybe $100 gift card. We'll go 50-50 on. I'm not sure what your rules and regs are locally if you can do that, but it's a great way to get people to share, to tune in, to really pick the momentum prior to the event.
What are you doing for your ad spend on an event for boosted posts?
So honestly, $25, you know, you don't have to go too crazy. It depends how large of a reach you want to have. In my opinion, Facebook Live virtual open houses, it's just like a regular open house. According to NAR, 1 out of 400 people that step into your open house will be the actual buyer, right? So statistically speaking, I personally haven't sold one of my listings from doing this virtual open house, but at the end of the day, I'm marketing the property for my client, and you're branding yourself. You're out there as an innovator in the marketplace, and familiarity breeds likability. So the more they see you out there, and you say, listen, tomorrow I'm going to go live at noon, and then you actually go live tomorrow at noon, you're building credibility with your database. So I kind of look at it as an overall package, and we're in a unique business where while you're marketing your product, you're also marketing yourself. Right. So it's a win-win-win-win-win all around. So I'll create like a hype video saying, hey guys, whoever, you know, show up to the event, you know, giveaways, yada, yada. I'll also send that out via BombBomb. I'm sure you guys are familiar with BombBomb. Yep. You're able to send it out to one-to-one video marketing, or one to your whole list via email, via text. And what's great is that, you know, sometimes you have people in your database that you're not friends with on Facebook yet. It's a great opportunity to get those people to your page to really start building that relationship. Great question though. I love pairing it with an existing open house or a broker open. Again, we're not having open houses right now, but when you do have open houses, if you're going to be at the home already, go live. You know, it's a huge opportunity that a lot of people don't realize. You know, they're twiddling their thumbs maybe. Sometimes you have open houses that aren't as busy. Use the time that you have to maximize.
And by the way, you know how I like to always give back to all my people. I appreciate you guys sharing this video. If you share this, you'll be entered to win 50.
So that's when I talk about, it's all about the messaging, right? And I always say it's all about, we're going live here, and I appreciate you sharing this, because it's about getting the seller the most exposure to their home and connecting with the potential buyer to their home. So thank you for sharing. This is what it's all about. Let's bring people together. Again, that puts you as the connector. As realtors, we're the connector for our clients. So that's really the messaging that I kind of go behind. And then also, you want to just kind of explain, what is this virtual open house? What's happening? Kind of how I just said. Remind people, this is during, right? You want to remind people to comment, like, share, interact with people, any questions that they have, any comments. And you really want to talk to the camera like it's a person, because again, it's authentic. You want someone to feel like you're talking right to them. I always say, put your phone on do not disturb, because certainly that could be an issue if your phone starts ringing. I've had that happen. Not fun. And then you want to switch between selfie mode and outward camera mode. And then certainly acknowledge people as they step into the room. And then you can even consider to bring someone as a guest to co-host the open house. I've actually done that before. You want to just be cognizant of who you're allowing to co-host with you. But it's exciting for the consumer. You know, everyone's at home. They have nothing else to do for the most part. And it's exciting for them to, first of all, to hear, oh, you know, Shane, thanks for stepping into the open house, you know, or like having an opportunity for them to come live with you is just really cool. I know someone's done that for me when one of my realtor friends in DC, he brought me on his live when he was doing Instagram live, and it was so much fun. It's just awesome. It keeps some interest. And then I always say you want to broadcast for about 10 plus minutes or so to really get the best ROI.
And so you have a scheduled event, and
Yeah.
so let's say you're scheduled on a Sunday at 2, let's say, or do you have some times that are, I mean, better attended, or that you like to do them? Does it really matter these days?
You know what? It doesn't really matter. I just think, especially now, everyone's kind of hanging around. But statistically speaking, if you do it around noon or so, like someone's lunch break at work, when they're at work, it's a great time to do that because people are bored. They're always looking at their phone. And if you're doing it during like a lunchish time, during the weekday, I find the best engagement. I really do.
And then, so do you, let's say you're at 1 o'clock or whatever on a Friday, and so you just go on for the 10 minutes and then end the video and then just
Usually I do about 30 minutes, truthfully, from start to finish. And it also depends, like how many people are entering the room, because certainly people come and they go. That's like the nature of live. So generally speaking, it's about 30 minutes. But if you are going to have like an ad where it's an open house that is noon to 12:30, then you want to make sure you're there the whole time. And especially if you're going to be, some people actually are using Zoom to stream that out. You want to be cognizant of any type of restrictions on the timing of things. So then usually I think 40 minutes is a cap in that regard. But generally 30 minutes or so is a good amount of time, I would say, if you're going direct on Facebook Live.
And then when you're physically at the property, and would you walk through the property more than one time, or would you casually kind of go through the property as you're chit-chatting?
Generally speaking, 30 minutes will take me throughout the whole property. And that's because I'm going pretty slow. There's a lot of engagement, commenting, things like that. The interaction piece, like I mentioned, that's huge. So generally speaking, it'll take me that long to kind of walk through the home. But towards the end, if I still have a lot of engagement, I'll just hang like in the main areas, like the kitchen, living room.
Mm-hmm. And do you plan out your route then a little bit ahead of time?
You know what? I'm just like very natural about it. I think as realtors, we're good at showing houses. You're just pretty much, like I said, authentic, just talking to the camera as if you're showing someone the home. And you just kind of roll with it. I really try not to plan too much. I try not to create too much, because especially too, like if you have people that are commenting like, oh, I want to see the bedroom or whatever, you want to kind of just go in the flow. You want to kind of just go with the flow of things.
Yeah.
Great question.
Absolutely.
Really good question. Something else I do, I like to bring on a surprise guest. Again, with COVID, you probably won't do this, but this is super fun. Let's see if this will play. Oh, it won't. Hang on, let's see.
And by the way,
let's see, it'll go now. Oh, there's a doorbell.
There's a knock at the door. Could it be our surprise guest?
So cheesy, I know.
Who could it
so
be?
Good though.
None other than Chief Carreri from UConn Health. Thank you so much for coming by today.
Hi, Alexa. I heard you're going to be very close to UConn Health, so I'd stop by and say hello.
You're absolutely correct. I love that you stopped by. Well, come on in.
Thanks.
So I crack myself up. It's so funny and it's so fun. And like, I've had, like I said, lenders show up and they'll give their little shtick on, how much someone could buy this home for and like the monthly payment, things like that. But I had a dear client of mine, Chief Carreri, UConn Health Center. This home was right near the health center and it was the perfect home for, let's say, a doctor. So specifically when he popped in, he said, oh, it's so close to UConn Health. You know what I mean? So it's just keeping things interesting and keeping the engagement rolling, Nothing like
a couple questions on the tech piece of things. And so I know with Zoom, you can have attendees on the back end join, because we did a marathon with agents and we had about 25 agents and we just kind of went back to back to back through Zoom, and then we Facebook Lived it, right? So the audience could just jump in and out of the Facebook Live, but the back end was managed with the agents basically having special guests and new co-hosts every 15 minutes or so. And so with just like, these are just straight Facebook Live, right?
Yeah.
And so I understand, I believe with Instagram, which I'm not a huge user of, you can have people join in with you and have person-to-person conversations, right? Can you do that on Facebook Live then as well?
So if I'm thinking about, if I hear you, if I understand what you're saying,
Mhm.
yes, because you can actually add someone to the screen. You know,
Okay.
you can ask to be a part of the broadcast on Live and Instagram. That's what you're asking, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, I love it. I think it's so much. It's awesome.
And that's just one other person though, right? You could
Correct.
more. Okay.
Yeah, it's one other. I don't know if they've changed it, but I've only been able to do one.
Okay.
But as we know, Facebook is always evolving. Instagram.
So as an example, if you're live like right now, chatting on Facebook Live, and you know that your mortgage broker is going to be on the live, they can just request to join you, and you can join in. It's like, hey guys, there's like, here's a knock at my Facebook door, and you know, hey, welcome to the Facebook. How are you, right?
That's such a good idea, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, right, we want to go with the flow, right? We have to change the way we're doing business now, right? This video was recorded not only when I was brunette, but before COVID, right? So being able to bring in guests in that manner, I think is perfect. And it really keeps the engagement. Again, you're able to tag whoever pops in, ask them to share on their page. It's just a win-win-win. I love that. I think that's great.
No,
Perfect. Let's see what else we have here.
I gotta up my emoji game apparently.
Oh, emojis. Emojis are huge. Emojis are huge. Anytime you can throw in an emoji, you got to do it. Talk about ROI, you know, keeps people's attention. So now let's talk about what to do at the end of the broadcast. So this is what happens when you press stop live. Okay, this is on Facebook at least. At the very top right, you're able to download to your phone or upload to your phone. You're able to see the bottom left, you're able to delete. So this is the oh shit button. Let's say that you drop an F-bomb or something crazy, or you trip and you fall on your face. If it doesn't go viral, which it could, you know, you may want to leave it. If it doesn't, you could just delete. So this is what I tell people. There is no pressure. There is no, if you're nervous, which everyone's nervous the first time, especially in the first few times, it's okay. This is your button where you could just stop, delete, and start again. I've done that before, by the way. And no one knows. No one knows.
Yeah. Two people that joined you in the live. Yeah. Good.
So like no pressure, people. I love it. And then of course you're able to change the setting before you press post. You're able to change if you want public to see it, you know, or friends or whatnot. So that's that. Also people, it's a really good idea. People love when there's captions, right? 85% of videos on Facebook are watched without any sound. So rev.com, you're able to, it transcribes to give you captions at $1 per minute. It's awesome. It's a huge time saver. So that's what you're able to do and add that to your video. From there, share it on social everywhere. What I recommend is always sharing things natively. So you can natively share it on YouTube. I don't really use Vimeo much, but of course, Facebook share it to all the different groups. You could do a boosted or targeted ad after the fact of the tour. Instagram, you name it. Get it out there and let the content continue to live post streaming. Also, I'll finish the circle. So I advertise it to my database on BombBomb via text and email. I close out the circle and send it to them with the full live stream. In addition to links with the property details, a single property website, yada, yada. And then also after the streaming, you want to go back to the comments section of the streaming itself. The comments are gold. This is where you can continue to interact with people after your Facebook Live or your live is done. You're able to answer questions and comment. I always say respond via video if you can, because it's 5 times larger in the comment thread. And of course it's video, you know, a picture says 1,000 words, a video says 1,000,000. I also post relevant links such as property websites, school info, town info, etc. I like to attach any relevant floor plans. I also say no Wi-Fi, no problem. There's so many times where I've been doing a stream and you lose connection in the basement, or let's say it's a condo in a large complex. You know, you're able to record with your camera right after, do this showing the areas you weren't able to see, and then upload it to the comments thread. And then of course I try to get any of my vendors that have participated to also interact with people on the thread and share it out, like I said.
Good, because that's essentially where your leads are, right? Like
oh yeah,
the comments.
And really it's about the relationship with people. because the people that are seeing it are already my friends or following me on my business page, or if it's like a boosted post or targeted ad, yeah, these are your opportunities to, you know, get in front of more people and really interact. And it's all about relationships, you know? And then from there, of course, converting people whenever they're ready to make a move. So that's that on Facebook Live, and we're going to touch upon a few other options. I said you can have, you know, as far as live streaming, just to go over a few other options, there's, you know, the planned options and then the spontaneous. So as you're out and about, I love whenever you have time, you're sitting in between, you know, appointments in your car, do a market update, you know, answer a frequently asked question. Be a newscaster in your local marketplace. Feature local businesses. How is a local person, the business owner, you know, operating their business in this day and age, right? With COVID, right? Feature the different businesses. Feature your referral partners. Be the newscaster of your communities, and also do seminars virtually. You know, I'm not sure if people do seminars, but if you're able to have a live, like a live seminar, people are able to, you know, you post the event, promote it, and then, you know, looking to buy or sell during, you know, COVID-19, you know, these are huge opportunities to get in front of people. And again, from your home to theirs, it's awesome. What else are we doing here? I like to feature, again, preferred vendors. And then I belong to different networking groups. So I belong to Business Networking International, and there's a weekly presenter every week. So what I brought to my group was, I said, guys, let's live stream the presentation. Of course, now we're on Zoom, so it's a little bit different, but I love, you know, showcasing some of my vendors. My vendors love it, and my clients love it too. Again, you want to be the connector for your clients. And if you're showcasing any connection they could possibly need, you believe me when I say they'll think of you whenever they're looking to buy or sell, when they're, you know, for any real estate needs. Yeah, and then the real life real estate moments. You know, I was checking on one of my clients' flip. On the left-hand side, there's a video of me I call my clients, I'm like, hey, are you guys at the flip? They said, yes. I said, can I come in and do live stream? They're like, yeah, that'd be great. Because guess what? We want to get some hype going for this listing that they're working on. Once they're ready to go live, then I'm going to be listing the home for them. So it was great to create a lot of hype for them by popping in to see how the flip's going. So that was really cool. And then there's another video I did there of me just popping, you know, doing a quick live from one of our new construction sites. I was on a bulldozer. So it was awesome. People love it. It's a real life real estate moments. And then client appreciation events on the hayride. Honestly, guys, the raw, uncut, unfiltered is where it's at. Because again, you're authentically being able to communicate with people as close to face-to-face as you can get. I like to say face-to-face without the fear. So this is something else I'm doing, trying to get creative. So myself and 6 of my other RE/MAX besties from around the globe, we created the Real Housewives of Real Estate. And so it's like, you know, you have to get creative. We're all home for the most part. Of course, we're working, but we're home a lot more than normal. So now we're featuring different broker owners and regional owners from around the globe. We had Yuka from Finland. We had Gabriela Castillo from Nicaragua. We had Rob Levy from Australia. Dario, who owns Italy. We had James Lavelle from the Cayman Islands, just featuring other realtors and what they're doing in their businesses and how their lives are. Like, what's COVID life? Yep, I love that. It's just getting creative. We all, you know, there's days where we don't want to get out of bed and we have our pajamas on, but listen, when you're feeling creative, just lean into it. And it's about creating things of value to either brighten someone's day or just share something insightful. So this is an example of what the screencast will look like. And you want to use a tool like StreamYard. StreamYard's phenomenal because I've used a lot of different options. It allows you to broadcast to multiple platforms. So like, for example, we'll be able to broadcast right to YouTube and to Facebook. And again, we create the event. We have a designated Instagram page for this, you name it. You could do the free account, but I mean, we're doing the basic and it's absolutely fine. There's some restrictions to the free account, just like anything. But even if you want to do a little show with, you know, your attorney, your lender, like, you know, little real estate update show, or featuring local businesses is a great way to get screen time together live from safe distances.
No, that's wonderful.
Thank you. All right, so going to 360. So we're going to dive into 360. So This is a Facebook Live virtual 360 tour. You guys, look at how many views I got. I got 4,700 views. This was organic views, okay? Facebook has changed their algorithm. This was 2 years ago, so it's definitely different. But it's amazing. And the messaging is, listen, come and join my 360 virtual open house. You know, and you need to tell people you can drag, tilt, you know, through the open house because it's a different experience. And it's just so much fun and it's so tech. And, you know, I had tons of people and it's different, right? Like tons of people sharing it to different community platforms. I shared it as well, but it's just something new and different and interactive. And this one in particular, I did not do any advertising. I did not do any giveaways. It just got so much interaction because it was unique and it was very easy to do. A lot of 360 cameras, you'll be able to do the live feature right from the device. And we will talk about cameras in a little bit. But this one was actually shot with Insta360 Nano S. If you're going to get an Insta360, you want Insta360 1X. It's awesome. And we'll definitely get into that.
And so you own the camera yourself on that one and
yes.
did the shots? Okay.
Correct. So you guys probably, of course, know about Matteport, so I won't go too deep, but I see some head shakes. But I want to go over some things that you may not know that you could do with it because, you know, I've been researching more about this, bringing new things into my practice, especially because there's more time, right? So, of course, they're famous for their dollhouse view. They're famous for their 3D walkthroughs, right? Their floor plans, the aerial bird's eye view, which is phenomenal. But matter tags, this is like awesome. So matter tags are able to embed a tag anywhere in the tour. You're able to embed any notes, videos, links, you name it. So what I would recommend to do is you can actually do a matter tag of a video introduction of you in the home and just saying, hey guys, welcome to 123 Main Street, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. Check it out, look around, yada, yada. You can also video to evergreen content such as community videos you've already done. Huge opportunity. So you do a community video once and then you're able to embed this as, you know, a matter tag to any of your tours. Love it. You can also do a hyperlink to add the builder, to the interior designer. You can have a tag to a list of updates on the kitchen counter, as you may have, you know, in a normal house, you may have like a binder with some of the updates. Guess what? You can have a binder there and you say, click there to see a list of updates of the home. It's amazing what you're able to do. A link or a list, like you click there and it brings you right to the disclosures. I mean, the sky's the limit. You can also do a tag on like a fireplace, you know, specifically saying is it natural gas, electric, yada, yada, wood burning. It's amazing. It's really amazing. So that's that. Of course, you're able to measure as well. You as the person that's made the tour, you can measure, or the consumer. They can go in after the fact, measure any type of furniture, the refrigerator, you name it. So, you know, keep yourself safe at home. You don't have to run out back to the house so they can measure for furniture. This is a great tool.
And you're in Connecticut, right? Are you allowed to do physical viewings currently, or is that not allowed?
Yeah, so we're able to do physical viewings. We're essential, but we have to be very strategic and specific. And of course, we qualify people more than ever, which I think is great. And people are more likely to, you know, really jump through the hoops of being pre-approved and, you know, having a consultation before meeting someone at the home. But yes, we are able to meet people certainly with safe precautions. And we really just make sure everyone that's considering to make a move is not just a looky-loo, you know, they're serious.
And I would assume that when you're doing a physical showing with the buyer, it's probably less likely that that's the first time they're viewing the property, so to speak, right? They've probably, you know, viewed it on a Matteport like, you know, 20 times before physically seeing it, right? And that's just their reassurance of, yeah, this is the right place, you know?
Exactly. And it goes both ways, right? It's a reassurance to the seller, you know, that there's not someone unqualified and not serious tracking through the home. And it's, you know, it's great for the buyer too, because why do they want to step into someone's home and, you know, risk themselves, right? And for us too, of course. But I love that. It's true. You know, a lot of realtors in our market are saying, make sure that the client has viewed the virtual 360 before stepping foot, because maybe they'll see the floor plan or the dollhouse view or step through the home and say, you know what, this is not for me. I do not like, you know, the things that you can't see in a typical photo, right? You can see so much more in 360. So that's really where it's at.
Almost too good HD.
Yeah, right?
You better clean that place before.
Yeah. It's true. It's so true. But it's funny, when we did the live show with Dario from Italy, he was telling us, and everything's really different in different regions, but he was telling us that they specifically do, they do a link where they're able to promote all the great things in the home. Then they do a designated like tour showing all the bad. They show all the condition and everything that's bad about the home. So people that are really, you know, that are serious and that know the condition are stepping foot to keep everyone as safe as possible, right? So that's that. So Matterpack. So this is great because after you do the tour itself, you have the back office of Matteport, and you're able to not only edit all your contact info, your logos, yada yada, linked to like to pull the MLS data, but you're able to publish to Google Street View, Realtor.com, Homes.com, VRBO, you name it. And so you're really able to pull it, download it, and then share it to third-party programs. So again, you're able to put it wherever the people are, right? Wherever you can draw in that particular potential client. So now guided tours, going back to the whole aspect of 360 tours. So you're able to showcase the tour and the Matterport tour after you've recorded it in so many different ways. You can create a Facebook event that you can market to people, and then you can make it, let's say, for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour, you name it. Promote it all the same ways we talked about, right? And then get this, you could be the convenience of your home, and the consumer can be the convenience of their home, and you're pulling up the 3D tour that you've previously recorded and walking them through the house. Not, you don't even have to be at the home. I mean, talk about ROI. Like, I love it. Utilizing technology in a win-win-win, you know, opportunity. Maybe the home is occupied and you don't want to do a Facebook Live from the home. Maybe your local laws don't allow you to do that, right? You're able to utilize the 3D tours you've already spent so much time putting together and just do this live streaming from there. Like, talk about brilliant.
Yeah, so that just goes into, Sam had the question, is if you could run a Facebook Live using an existing previously completed Matteport tour. And so, yeah, absolutely. And I know that you could also set up an event that requires registration before getting the Matteport link, basically. So you can set up a landing page that requires their, you know, email, a phone, and name before they get the Matteport link. Rather than just giving it away, you could request their data and lead capture that prior to, right?
I love it. Absolutely. And that's the thing, right? We're always all like learning from one another. And I think it's great, right? There's pros and cons or opportunities in both, right? If you have like a specific landing page, like you said, where people can register for the event, then you know who's been in there, who's engaged. And especially if you're going to perhaps sit home on a typical, I don't know, are Sundays or Saturdays popular days for open houses in your market?
Yeah, I don't think that we have a super active open house environment in town here. But yeah, typically they would be a Saturday or Sunday, and you know, anywhere between noon and 5 is pretty commonplace. And then, you know, we've started seeing a little bit more of the happy hour open house, or, you know, something, you know, noon on a holiday, things like that. And so we started seeing a little bit of that prior to this. But I would say if you talk to the average agent in our area, they would say open houses don't work, is what they would say to you.
Right.
And, you know, and some people that are, you know, really active on it and have a good system, you know, they started leaning a little bit more towards this mega open house style of environment, putting up a lot of signs, having a guest or, you know, some sort of draw for people to come to the property. But I would say it's less common. Just like using video, it's definitely a way to get engagement and to have that top of mind marketing. But it's not adopted across the board for sure.
So now that being said, as we're talking here, so, you know, why not even doing like a marathon of open houses in a particular day?
Mhm.
So let's say you have a lot of inventory in a specific neighborhood or in a specific town, or maybe you got the permission from, maybe there's a neighborhood you want to be in farming, right? Maybe you get the permission from the listing agent to have an open house at their listing, right? Using an existing 3D tour, or maybe you're able to go in there and create that, and then you market. Of course, you need a listing agent permission, but then you can market a marathon of open houses in a particular area or price range. And then, like you said, you can have a single prop, like a registration site where maybe there's half an hour per home, and then people can, you know, see 123 Main Street, you know, and then all the other ones that are kind of like fit the general criteria of your typical, you know, maybe one type of demographic or one type of needs of a client, right?
Right.
So why not like have a marathon day where you have an open house every half an hour on the half an hour, or every hour on the hour, you know, for a few hours, and then you're maximizing your time, and you have a captive audience that perhaps maybe they saw the first one, they're like, you know what, let's check out this other one. And again, you're doing something more unique, and then you can even market that you're doing that and then win listings in these areas. Because I don't know about you guys, but we don't have a lot of inventory at all, and we're having tons of multiple offers.
That's great. Yeah, especially still right now. That's wonderful.
Love it. So fun. So then how do you actually create the Matteport? So you can, of course, hire someone, or you can utilize Matteport Capture, which is an app. Super simple. It actually walks you through the home, or you capture, right, in the different rooms, and it'll actually guide you to where else you need to capture. So super, 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 like I would say pretty tech savvy. You don't need to be too tech savvy. I'm sorry to call coming in. So that it's pretty attainable. It's better than you'd think. And then these are the different options as far as Matteport. So at $99 a month, you can have 5 active tours, 25 active tours for $69 a month. And then of course, what is it, 300 for 100 active tours. But keep in mind, you could have inactive tours as well, and kind of circle them in and out as necessary. Depends how much inventory you have. And then, so ImmoViewer, of course, is another option. Are you guys familiar with ImmoViewer?
Yeah. Actually, John, who you spoke with earlier, he set up, he added a blog, and we've been sharing that out with a bunch of the different suppliers and options, and for hosting and for do-it-yourself or for hiring and that type of thing. So we definitely been sharing that out. I don't know anybody that's using ImmoViewer here. Matteport seems to be the early entry in our area and kind of the market dominator for that. We even, as an office, owned a camera, but at the time had very few agents actually utilizing it, and it was a bit of an annoyance for the staff to run it. And so we're looking at doing something a little bit more that we could just rent out 360 camera to the agent. They would follow the app and do their own tour, and then we would have some hosting for the office. So that's kind of our next level. But right now we have quite a few of our even in-house vendors that offer the Matteport tours for, I think, even under $200. If you guys know exactly, feel free to comment in the chat. But I think it's under $200 for the full tour, and then it's hosted by them as well. And so, how do you run yours typically?
So typically speaking, I'll hire out for Matteport, but now we have restrictions and what we're able to do, like as far as actually having a photographer in a home, it's kind of questionable as far as a list of essential activities, believe it or not.
Right.
So I'm leaning more towards utilizing my own 360 camera to capture. I have a listing that I'm preparing. We had a few that came live just recently that we were able to hire the professional for. He does a professional photography and everything. And, but moving forward, I'm going to be using my own 360 cameras, which we'll get into the specifics. And then utilizing, the different options, the different hosting options. But as far as like Matteport versus ImmoViewer, here's the thing. Matteport, you have to take more 360s in the home But like, let's say your typical home, like what I find you need about 40 or so. ImmoViewer, you only need about 20 or so. So it's less upfront for ImmoViewer as far as work. But with ImmoViewer, you have to stitch all the photos together. And you need to also edit the, I know, I see your head. You're like, no, that it's not for me either, right? Because I don't really get a kick out of trying to figure out what part of the photo is the entryway to this next room and like linking it. Like, no, like I'm not into it. Some people really are, but then also you have to like edit for lighting. Whereas with Matteport, it actually does all that automatically for you, the lighting and the stitching, and of course the floor plan.
Yeah, if my wallpaper didn't line up, I'd be losing my mind.
Right? That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, it is an option for people that want this option. It just depends what you're looking to do, right? Now, here's the one that I'm super excited about. You guys are familiar with Box Brownie, I'm sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, have you guys heard that they're now doing the 360 virtual tours?
Yeah, I actually got an email today from them
Oh my
in
God.
regards to that. Yeah.
Let's talk about this. I'm so excited. So typically Box Brownie, of course, is all about editing the photos to me as, you know, the lighting or the dusk or dawn photos, or even virtual renderings of a new construction or a renovation. And now you guys, you can send them your 360 photos that you take and they will create your tour for $1 per photo, approximately, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what an amazing time saver. They do the editing for the lighting and they do the stitching. And by the way, there's no hosting fees. Once you pay for it, it's yours, right? You don't have to have a subscription, you know, so maybe 1 month you get 1 new listing. Maybe another month you get 10 new listings. You're pay as you play. So I love this option. You just take the 360 photos, you upload it to your Box Brownie account, and then within 24 hours or so, you get it back. This is the way of the future, people. And let's
you can't do that with your phone though, right? You need a specific 360 camera on that one.
And from what I understand, unless I'm mistaken, from what I understand, any 360 camera will do. I don't know of one that doesn't work with it yet. So that's good news. And then now here's like the super game changer. So now you're able to also virtually stage your homes in the 360 tour for only $64 per room. So, I mean, it is a little costly, but if you're comparing it to actually staging a home, we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars in savings. Right. So I'm pumped. I don't know about you guys, but I am pumped about this.
Sound excited.
I'm wicked excited. So I think I'm now converted to a Box Brownie 360er. That's what I'm calling myself right now.
That's great.
Yep. So there's a few more things I just want to go over and we'll get into Q&A. So Zillow has a 3D home tour app, which is really cool. So of course with Zillow, your listings syndicate and then, but your virtual tours do not syndicate to Zillow.
Okay. We won't spend a lot of time on Zillow. We have no Zillow here. So.
Oh, wow. All right, perfect. We'll move right along. Perfect. So now cameras. So of course you can purchase this super, super expensive $3,000+ Matteport camera to do the Matteport tour. You're looking at it, it's a hefty price. It's about 15 pounds. So it takes quite a bit of time to actually capture the entire home because it's much heavier. You know, you have the tripod legs that you have to set up and make sure it's level every time. And then to capture in each room, it's about 1 minute and 20 seconds per room because it actually rotates, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is an option. Go for it if you want. So now these are the ones I get excited about. The Ricoh Theta V starting at around 400 or so. You can probably get a little bit less. That is probably your best for photos as far as quality versus Insta360 1X. Ricoh Theta V definitely has a little bit better quality, but Insta360 1X, there is nothing better as far as stabilization. If you're looking to do like Facebook Live, virtual open houses, or live streaming with your camera, Insta360 1X is your best friend. There's nothing better. And then of course the Ricoh Theta Z1, this is like the camera of all cameras in my opinion. If you're going to go all in and you're like, this is my new life, you know, this is the one you could go for. It's very comparable to the Matteport quality. But obviously it's at around $1,000.
Right.
So those are kind of some of the options there. Trying to think if I have anything else for you. Oh, my cute little inspiration at the end. Will you rise to your potential or sink into your comfort zone, right? That's our motto, right? Rise to your potential. There's no time like now. Be an innovator in your marketplace and use your knowledge to spring into action. So that's my presentation.
That's lovely. That's great. So I'll take you off the spotlight here, and then as people would like, as our guests here, feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions specifically, and we'll go in there. So there was a question. These are U.S. dollars, obviously, right? Because you're in the States.
Yes, correct.
And so that's totally cool. And so how you guys doing? Any questions? Who's doing these virtual open houses or utilizing the 360 tours in the group? Anybody currently? Anybody definitely going to? We got you in the gallery view, so you guys are definitely being viewed and recorded. So look lively. Look lively.
Can I get a thumbs up? Is anyone
Yeah.
feeling a little bit
How's that?
more-
Was that good information for you guys? You get some value out of that?
Okay.
Yes. So thumbs up, thumbs up. Good, Shenita. Yeah.
That was really good, actually. It's about just doing it, right? So
Yeah, and I know that I had a call on Sunday from David St. Jean, and his team was they did 4, right? So they're like, hey, let's do 4 properties, and I helped him schedule the event, and then we scheduled a Facebook Live, and so that's something that you didn't mention on, and so I had been watching some of these, like even actually Adam Contos and those things. They've got the get a reminder. And I was like, what? I want to have that. That's pretty slick, right? And I was like, yeah, I want to get a reminder. And then, hey, so-and-so is going live. And I was like, oh, I want that. And then it was on it and it had a 3-minute countdown. It's like, oh, this is super professional. It's really slick. I've got to be able, if they can do it, I've got to be able to do it, right? And so then, it did take some playing around with it and just trying to figure out what made sense. And so I said, let's do this. We scheduled the live. And what's kind of cool about that, going through connecting it to Zoom, is that there is a delay. So you have to be mindful of the fact that, and Sam, you tried it, you went live and you're like, oh, this is kind of awkward starting because, you're watching the delay and you're hearing the echo and so you just have to assume, 10 seconds out that, start your countdown in your mind that you're live and just act as if, right? So, hey, let's be live. We'll wait a couple seconds here to get everybody settled in and let people join in, and then we'll just start things kind of right off, right? And I wouldn't delay too much on that, but I thought that was a really cool feature now that you can schedule the live up to 7 days prior to the event. Right, and no earlier than I think 10 minutes out, I believe, for the scheduled live. Where when you have the event, it's the event. And so I don't know if you've played with that and you've used that, as I can't decide if it's good to schedule the event and then put the live in the post of the event, or if it's just better to go live straight on the page. Do you have any insight on that at all?
So I used to use for all my different hosting type of shows when we have multiple people. I used to use Be Live, which did that, which it would actually set, and people would be able to get a reminder. But honestly, I don't utilize that tool anymore. I use the StreamYard, and I have not used what you're talking about. I would be really curious if you come across any type of analytics on what's better and more effective. And of course, Facebook is always changing. I'd be really curious to hear back. I really would, especially because now with more downtime, I'm really going to be leaning more towards doing more and more lives. Because just like anything, right? You get busy and you stop doing the things that got you the business to begin with, right? So if you end up finding any information on that, Shane, definitely let me know. But I've seen that many times. I know for a fact I used to do that with the Be Live feature, but I don't have any comparison, honestly. But it's a great question.
So the one thing else that I was looking at too is that you had mentioned just that engagement and making sure that any of the comments on there that you're commenting back on, right? And I thought that like that's a crucial mistake that I do see some agents doing, is that they do all this effort to put on this event, but then there's not the follow-up or maximizing their efforts, right? So they're doing this live in this event or what have you, and then you had mentioned share that with your database, right? Like you might not sell that property specifically, but it's the exposure, the top of mind, and that social proof, right? Like look at that agent. She's everywhere. She's always busy. Look what she does for her sellers, right? I want that level of service, right? And so there's some of that maybe not direct business from it, but it's almost intangible, right? Where you're just like, hey, I'm really busy, and this is offsetting that and growing my business, right? I also thought I was just chatting with an agent, and I said, when you're at these virtual open houses, you want to try to get engagement, right? And so asking questions and saying, hey, would you mind just throwing in chat? Can do you hear the audio okay? Is the visual good, right? Like even something simple like that to get engagement, right? Hey, what do you think of this color or this color? Which one's better, red or blue, right? Like, oh, I love the red. And then so all those are comments that now you can do engagement with afterwards, right? Like, oh, I totally agree. This kitchen in this house is better than the kitchen in the second house. Like, those types of little things. And I was even thinking like pre-plan some questions that are maybe even unreal estate related, right? Like, hey, what's your favorite feel-good movie? What are you doing to keep busy right now? Those types of things to just get engagement and start some conversation, in your feed, right? So I don't know, have you done any of those types of things where you're asking specific questions to get engagement, like, or what gets most engagement from your views?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. Like, so what's your favorite room of the house, you guys? Like, don't you love this living room? What's your favorite feature in the kitchen? You're absolutely right, Shane. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And honestly, I like your idea of asking them just other questions, right? Because it doesn't have to always be about the house, because it's an open house, right? You're not just talking about the house. So I think that's a great idea, to just try to get other engagement, because at the end of the day, like if someone just pops in and stumbles upon your live, if you start asking them like funny trivia or something, and you get a little bit of engagement while you're showcasing the living room, that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. Don't be afraid to take up space, meaning don't be afraid to take up space and time where, let's say that you've done the tour, maybe you want to stop and sit down on the couch in the living room and say, hey guys, so, let's just do some fun little trivia right now. Or what are you guys doing to stay busy? Or what's your favorite board game at home right now? Just have like a little conversation, and then you can move on with the tour.
Yeah.
Why not? That's what I say. More engagement is more engagement.
I know when I had one of our agents, actually Lori Hunt, lovely gal. And so I had her do 30 open houses in 30 days challenge.
I love that.
And she's like, yeah, I want to do this. And I was like, okay, cool. However, you can't just do the open houses. You also need to go live or record a video telling them what you're doing. And I want you to get people invested, engaged to your journey, right? So, hey, this is open house 5 out of 30. So I have 25 more to go. And it's at 123 Main Street, blah, blah, blah. And so I can't wait for you guys. And I said, and at every open house, I want you to do something like that's a little bit different, right? And so we came up with an idea with her because she's a smaller, more mature in age lady, and she's real sweet. She's like your grandma, right? And so I said, what if you did funny dad jokes? And she's like, what's a dad joke? And so she looked around, she's like, oh, this is perfect. And so at the end of every open house, she shared a dad joke. And they were just, because her delivery was her and she's just sweet, and you're just like, oh my God, this is awesome. And so it almost gave you a reason to tune into the next one to see, to hear the dad joke, right? Because the property is a property, right? Like it's only so exciting. So you can't just walk through the property and have no engagement, right? So a little bit of prep, I think, ahead of time would be key. And would you say it's important to know about the property and, some of the features of the property?
Absolutely.
And so would you have a little cheat sheets or anything like that, or you just have that internally? And, because some people are just not as good at that, right?
Well, it's so great. It's such a great question, because when you do a normal like live streaming, of course you want to know the property, but you can have a cheat sheet, right? When you're using just your camera and your stabilizer. But when you go 360, you can't have a cheat sheet,
No.
because they can see everything. So that's a little bit different. But what I really try to do is I look at my notes. I draft up, obviously pull from the MLS, but I look at it the night before, and then the morning of, and then just before I go live. And then that's all you need. Yeah. As realtors, we're pretty darn good at showing homes.
Yeah, we know what room the kitchen is, I think. And,
exactly. Bathroom, whatever. But no, you definitely, having a cheat sheet is a great way to go. And then just know that it's not a big deal if you fumble a little bit. It's not a big deal. And if something, like I said, you drop the F-bomb or you trip and fall on your face, it's all good. You can let that go viral, or you can just stop going live and delete and start over. No one will even know. It's the best part. So don't put too much pressure on feeling perfect. And in fact, you want to just be authentic. Just be yourself. Just be the person that they would see if you met them at the open house. Because at the end of the day, you're hoping that they become a client and that you end up showing them a house and they'd be like, wow, Alexa on the virtual open house is pretty much the same as Alexa that I'm getting when I'm showing homes,
I think that, that's true. That's one thing that's really great with video, is that you do get to know your tribe, right? And people will resonate with you or not, and you'll already weed out people that are not good matches for you, right? And that's great. And so the people that you are dealing with already know, like, and trust you, right? They've got that connection with you, and so it makes it that much easier when you get going. So I love that. Like, let's have wine and cheese, but you guys can't be here, so I get to eat all, drink and eat all the wine and cheese. So that's kind of.
I love it too that Dena said that she dropped her camera during her marathon, and it's all good, right? We're still alive. Like, everyone's all right. So what happened, Dena? Did you end up like having to redo it, or did you just let it go and it was fine, right?
No, it was the first marathon the office did. So I don't know, I think there was 30 houses. We all did a marathon of open houses. And so it was all Greek, it was all new. And I'm walking up the stairs and it's like, oh, I have to turn this around. So I've got my hand in front. And then it's like, because I'd never, I didn't practice that, of course, before.
Right.
Anyways, and then it's like, oh, up the stairs, threw it on the floor.
Oh,
but it's like, okay, we're live. But that's kind of who I am.
Started your tour with a bang, Dena. It's all good.
That's right.
We've been sharing, obviously with our agents, is done is better than perfect, right? Just get it done, do it, right? And so, and you know what? I know Sam's next interview with Professional, his next B2B interview is going to be better. And then the one after that's going to be even better. And then he's going to add some graphics in there, and then some music, or what, what I mean? It's just going to get better quality as it goes. But his first one was still great, right?
Yeah.
And then we did that marathon. It was 3 hours that we did back to back, and we had agents not show up for their turn. We had one agent was at the office and she had their listing on the computer. And we're so any mistake that we could do, it totally happened. And we're just like, hey, that's cool. We'll learn better for this one, right? And so on Friday, we're doing our next marathon. And so we're doing the specific price range. So it's going to be homes between this price and this price. And then we're like, okay, what can be the next one? You could have new builds. You could have, yards to die for, or, things like that, where it's specific type of properties. And I think that would probably be more, I guess, direct or focused on the type of people we want viewing and engagement. But to share, we did get some client specific leads on properties from that marathon, which was
Now this,
cool.
so this is so smart. So I think when you first said it, I don't think I got it all the way. I was thinking more that it was a marathon of you guys, like a broker's tour, just showing internally to the office. But this was a full on, this is like open house for the consumer. I love this. Can you send me links to like your advertising on it, your promo, and then like I would love to hop on to like this event. This is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, we're just playing for it. So, I mean, I'm going to create the public event today. So that'll go on. And then I'll also schedule the Facebook Live in a post of that event. And then that Facebook Live post, our MLS allows us to post that as our open house link. So then all the agents will have that as their posted open house link.
Wow.
And then on the agent side, they'll have the Zoom link like we're doing right now. And then we just rotate through and spotlight the agents when it's their turn.
I love it. That's great.
And so, yeah, it went pretty good. And I think we'll just do it a little bit better this time. And like a few things that were amiss was when there was some dead space, we needed to fill that in. So maybe having some of those little trivia questions and that type of thing to get engagement, having maybe some listings or video tours geared up and ready to go in case there's some, tech, like let's say Rhonda's doing her tour and completely internet dies. Well, I could have that link opened and ready to go, right? And, linking the property addresses as they go so people can go right directly to that agent's profile or what have you, right? Another good tip that I thought that I saw is that you can edit your name on Zoom.
Yeah.
And so I've been seeing people put the line after their name and then adding their Instagram link or their website or even a quote that they like, right? And so, yeah, those things were good. Rhonda, did you add your video on there because you wanted to chime in and had some question, or you just wanted to be part of you have to unmute, love?
No, I finished eating. That was, I think
Okay.
everybody it was not about our hairdos. It's about whether we've had a chance to eat or not.
Well, hopefully you got pants on today and that's a good day, right?
We're all facing just from the shoulders up.
What's good, Rhonda was part of the marathon, and how many properties did you do?
I did 6. 6 was hard to do.
She jumped from one to the other.
I did. I mean, I just thought I'd go all in. If I'm going to try something, and I just would say that to anyone who's trying it, just like what you're saying here, Alexa, is just to jump in and try it. Because I mean, I know that I'm going to screw up on some parts. I think you were saying to me, Shane, when we were doing that, or John was saying, yeah, go horizontal, because I was doing vertical because you get used to doing some things vertical for different reasons. And definitely the jitteriness with, it would probably be better, of course, to have the device you were talking about because it would be stabilized. And, you need to have someone, I had my builder open 3 properties for me and turn on all the lights, and he also locked them up, which I could not have done as many as I did if he hadn't done that. So, and obviously we're all trying to not involve other people. So the fact that, if you were to try to do this on your own, it's so great that our office is doing this, because if you're trying to do this on your own, you'd have to have somebody sitting there coordinating all of it, like Dave did, and he did a fabulous job. You guys did do some market data and that you interspersed with a few things. John came on and did a little bit about market data and a little blurb about our office. So I thought it was really well done.
Cool. Well, yeah, we'll keep doing them too, right? As long as you guys want them and are going to engage with them and participate, then we'll make that happen, right? And we've seen, like I said, David already took a spin off that and did his own with his own team this weekend, and it was great to see engagement. One of the things that I noticed on his is that the agent started vertical, went horizontal, but it didn't flip. It stayed sideways. And so I don't know if you've run into that, but I have to assume that's a setting on the individual's phone probably.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Sending it someone's phone.
Yeah,
I've done that too.
Just wanted to let you guys know I got to duck out. I have a showing here in at 3 p.m. So thank you very much. It was nice to meet you virtually. I really appreciate all your feedback. While you guys were talking, I actually had a call from the realtor who's going to be listing a house in the same cul-de-sac I have a listing at. And it gave me an idea while I was talking to him. I said, well, why don't you and I do a Facebook Live, work together and promote each other's listings? And he was like, really? I never thought of that. So thank you. It actually gave me that idea real time. But,
yeah.
I got it done.
Love it. Have this, do the scotch though. Do the scotch.
Yeah. Yeah,
Totally.
I'll wear my evening jacket. You know?
Yeah.
I can't do the cigar thing because it doesn't like when I smoke those things. But yeah,
Love that.
I could do that.
That's great.
Anyways, nice to meet you. Thanks. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Sam.
Have a good day.
Great.
Shane, I do, and Alexa's ideas, I do think that the big miss that we're having right now with doing our group one, because, you know, like, I mean, we're only really like, I don't think we have our time slots even yet right now. So I don't know that I have the link that we're going to use. And
I'll have that today.
like, how can I promote it anywhere right now when I don't have it until like the day of or the night before? And I mean, I understand it takes a lot of coordination for this, so I'm not criticizing that in any way, but just, you know, knowing how I can now put that onto the open house slot on like, you know, we can put the link on, and how I can put it on my Facebook and that we're not getting any advance promotion on this.
Right. Yeah. So it's for Friday, and you'll have that information today.
Yes, but again,
the timing, I don't know. Dave is organizing the time schedule.
No, he's done a fabulous job. I'm just thinking like to get more uptake, I think we need to have more ability to market it, I guess.
Yeah,
or link.
Absolutely.
The good news is no one really has anything to do. Everyone's at home. So thank goodness for that, right?
Well,
and honestly, you guys are super savvy. Like, I love what you guys are doing. And I think it's cool how you guys are having these different Zoom calls with guests from all over the globe, or at least for me in Connecticut. And I think it's great.
Yeah. No, that's super. Did you guys have any other questions then for Alexa specifically?
I just had one. I just wanted to know, is there a specific or minimum amount of time that a live should happen?
Yes, great question. So you don't want to go any less than 10 minutes. It really takes about 10 minutes to get enough of an audience that you're relevant. And then also the beauty of live, you really get the most, you know, you have the people coming and going. So if you can do even closer to like 20-ish, I think that's great, but definitely 10 minimum.
Good, yeah, that's a good tip. So it doesn't have to be 3 hours, right?
No.
And then, so do you host it elsewhere besides just leaving it on your Facebook profile? Would you also take that video and host it anywhere else? Do you put it on YouTube? Or?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. You wanna put it natively on YouTube, on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, you can share to like LinkedIn, wherever you're interacting with people is really where you want to go.
Great.
I do have one question about how you got, and whoever's done more lives, I've done some, but not a lot. What I find awkward or hard to do is how do you figure, like, as much as you should be engaging with the people that are texting or whatever, how do you do that when you're using your phone to do the actual live, and now you're getting texts on there, you don't see them. So, I mean, how are you managing to manage that part of the engagement when you're using one device to do everything?
Yeah, great question.
So that is a great question. Whenever I'm utilizing with my mobile phone, with my Osmo Mobile, I see my screen and I'm able just to press change the camera, whether it's the front camera or the back camera. So when I'm talking, I'll have it on the back camera, and then I'll just press the button to switch the cameras and it'll see the front view. So the whole time I'm able to see all the comments. Maybe there's a different way that you're able to try to hold the device. And also I would totally have a shaky hand if I didn't have the gimbal. So maybe that's the way to go.
Okay.
And you want to do it right in, like, if you're doing Facebook, you want to do it right in the Facebook app, of course, and just doing the live stream from there. And then also, I mean, I'll double check it. But like Facebook obviously changes all the time. Like if you update the app, but the last time I did it, I was able to see all the comments coming through.
Yeah.
But I guess it also
And I think
depends.
that might be one of the obstacles with the fact that we're doing ours through Zoom. So the agents themselves are
Yeah.
connecting on Zoom, and they would have to have Facebook elsewhere. So we have somebody monitoring the Facebook to make sure that audio and visual look good and make sense, and that's going through, and then potentially monitoring any of the chats on there and can relay those questions. So we have a host and then an agent. So that's how we do with that. But yeah, if you were going directly on Facebook Live, you would have your Facebook open and you would be on Facebook Live. But I think we're doing it because we're doing the multiple agent thing. The only way we can do that is through a third party, which is Zoom in this case. Yeah.
I don't really understand watch party terribly well, other than, you know, someone has a show on TV and they're put watch party. But so is there any purpose for that? Just
Yeah, so,
in the same kind of context.
yep. So for example, you can take any live stream that's happened or is happening, and you can create a watch party. So meaning even after, during or after the live streaming that your office is doing, you should be able to press create watch party. And then that means that everyone that's in your database, it's almost like sharing it. Essentially, it's like sharing someone else's Facebook Live, or let's say you're doing a Facebook Live on your business page, you could share it to your personal and create a watch party. It just adds another level of kind of like.
So if we did, like, let's say we did great backyards or luxury homes or something like that, you could then create a watch party within your, like, I have a business and a personal Facebook page, although my personal is open, but still I don't hammer them with homes because it's just not the context that you're usually doing in there, right? But if you were to put in there a watch party of, you know, gardens, for example, because that might be more generically appealing and not so salesy, then you would create a watch party and then try to engage people from within your sphere on that. Was that would something that would work?
Yeah, you absolutely could do that. You can even take, for example, the marathon after it's done. Yep. And then share it as a watch party, and then interact with people in real time in that manner. I think it's a great idea.
That could be a good use for how what we're doing, because we're not getting the engagement when we're actually doing it, because we're, like, in my case, I was going from 6 different homes, so I don't have any time to engage with anything other than open the doors and lock the doors, and, you know, so that could work, Shane, if we all did that after.
Yeah, no question. And then the watch party has to be during, though, right?
I think as long as you catch it, I think it has to be during, but I think that you can, I'm not sure, because I've been able to do a watch party in the middle of a live stream, in the beginning, in the middle, even towards the end. What I don't know is if it stops once the live stream stops or not. That I don't know.
Yeah,
Do you guys know?
So then if someone is not attending or being participant in it, they could do a watch party for it. And that would be a way to be involved. And maybe if we have more targeted topics, like you said, like a great backyards or view properties or investment properties or whatever, and then we create a watch party on our own, I think we could maybe see if that would work as something to get more consumer leads.
Yeah, and I think, and like we were talking about before, is trying to get engagement like during, and that you can follow up with people afterwards, right? And then just being aware of how that's going to come across. It's like, hey, you know, if you have questions about this, or this, feel free to drop that into the chat, and then after the session, I'll be able to jump on and get back to you on that information, right? And so just knowing how the recipient's going to interact with you, and just know that that's, although we're live that way, just like, hey, just because we're live through this and I've got 6 properties to view, I might not be able to get back to you all right now, but throw a chat in here and I'll respond with this link or this, you know, this information, that type of thing. Yeah,
That's a great idea.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I think the another takeaway is just, hey, do it, and then keep tweaking, keep making it better. There's no one solution. And we went
Right.
through a ton of different options, right? There's no one size fits all. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And you know, it's tech. So sometimes there's going to be things that just don't work exactly the way you want it to. And so you have to, you know, be creative, do a workaround, or learn it more and get better, right? That's, you know, I think that most of the people on here, I think, are iPhone users, and there's probably 1,000 features of your phone you still don't know about or haven't used, right? Right. So it's like, oh, I didn't know that I could do quick text, or, you know, with the Android, you can schedule texts for future, you know, messaging and things like that. Like, there's some real simple things that are out there that people are just not aware of, right? And so it's good. Like, there's agents in our marketplace and in, you know, in our community that have never ever done a live in any format whatsoever or any type of video, and probably will never. And I think one of the things that Alexa alluded to earlier is that you're going to go extinct that way, right? And so the fact that we're embracing that now, I wouldn't consider us early adopters, but it's still, you know, there's still probably less than, you know, 25% adoption on video as a medium, and it's definitely a great way to communicate, for sure. So yeah, wonderful.
Awesome.
I know now that it actually doesn't go live right away. I think that's what used to stop me. So I do the video and then post it, but I mean, you're getting more engagement with live, so I'm definitely going to try it. Thank
Definitely. My pleasure. And keep in mind too, it takes a while to build an audience. And what I will say is that, of course, Facebook's always changing their algorithm, but so it used to be a little bit easier to engage an audience, but just if you keep to it and you have an interaction even after the fact, and you just keep on doing these, you will build momentum, right? You will just build momentum, and Facebook will continue to recognize you as a contributor and something of value, and people interacting with you. So they will start giving you more and more and more attention. So if you only have 50 views the first time, that's okay. You know, it
Alexa,
really is okay.
I was just going to say something about that too. What I've been watching, I'm sure a lot of us have some of the Adam Contos ones. And you think of the reach that Adam Contos has. And sometimes when I've been on those, there's been like 15 people. So when you think of the fact that, you know, he's got this massive audience of, I mean, how many thousands of agents around the globe. And sometimes he has like 15 people on there. So
Right. Exactly. So just get out there and do it, like Shane said. And it will never be perfect. I don't know it all. I'm no expert. I just try what I think I know and then build upon that. And by the time you know, by the time you know something, it's going to change a little bit. So you just got to have fun with it. Just got to go with it and just got to do it. So.
Wonderful. Well, I'll just thank you very much, Alexa, for spending some time with us. We really appreciate you sharing, and yeah, great discussion all around. So yeah, looking forward to seeing people take the plunge and get in front of the camera a little bit more, right? So love that.
I love
Thank
it.
you. Yeah, thank you so much.
Good luck, everyone, and let's connect on social, okay? Or keep in touch anytime.
thank you.
Love that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It was really nicely done.
Thank you.
Okay, have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, you as well,
Take
Shane.
care.
Bye.